Hello, and welcome to today's ABC&S webinar. For technical assistance, please phone Rebecca Support on 1-800-733-416. Today's webinar is Australian wine export to China, market updates and entry options, presented by Sarah Cheng and Mike Liu. To ask Sarah and Mike a question, please use the chat box which is located on the left-hand side of your screen, just to the right of the cogwheel. After typing out your question, hit enter to submit. Questions will be answered throughout the webinar. And without any further ado, I'll now hand over to Sarah to begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this webinar today. My name is Sarah Chen. I head up the China practice with New South Wales Business Chamber. For those who do not know us, we trade as Australian Business Chamber for the global market. The chamber was established in 1826, so we're 191 years old. Today, we are the largest chamber Australia-wide with 23,000 members, 60 offices across Australia, 800 staff. We also have 4 offices overseas, China, India, Ireland, and UK. So my team is split into 2 locations, Sydney and Shanghai. We have been in this Australia-China bilateral investment space in the past 20 years. And today we are pretty much the largest trade consultancy focusing on China in Australia. So we are also the strategic partner of China Council for the Promotion of Your Trade and also China Federation for Industry and Commerce. So what my team does is we work with Australian companies, help them enter and expand in China market. We do market research, we do strategy, we do business partner search, and also on behalf of all the chambers across Australia, we run Export Growth China program. So this is brief introduction, self-introduction. So for today's session, we will cover China wine market outlook, but also we would like to share a bit market insight on the imported wine market in China. And then we will talk about the China market distribution channels and market entry options. And then we'll finish with a bit information on wine export to China program. So now I would like to hand it over to my colleague, Mike Liu. Mike is our wine expert in the team. Mike will share with you the China's imported wine market outlook.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike, the business engagement manager in the China team. So I would like to share our insights about China wine import market and provide you guys an outlook about the future of Australian wine export to China. So I think the first question is about what Chinese consumers intend to buy from Australia. So based on the research performed by Bain Company in 2016 of 2,000 Chinese consumers of Australia goods, the listed goods are sold by Chinese consumers, such as dairy products, baby food, wine, and other food. So besides dairy products, Australian wine is one of the most popular products in China. And the Chinese consumers recognize those famous Australian wine regions, such as Barossa Valley in SA, Yarra Valley in Victoria, and Hunter Valley in New South Wales. I would like to share more details in my next slide. So based on the latest statistics, Australia is only second to France and win 20% market shares with a strong growth trend in terms of exporting wine to China. As you can see there in the screen, basically Australia exporting volume is a total of the Chile plus Spain and almost plus others. So this is a really exciting number for all Australia wineries, as China market is huge and Australia wine is more and more popular in China. So, as you can see in this table, it is clearly seen that Australia has the largest year-on-year growth rate in terms of amount of wine exporting to China. Not surprisingly, Australia's average export price is about $8.38 per liter, which is also the highest average price among the top 5 countries exporting wine to China, even higher than France's average wine export price. It also matches Chinese consumers' perception about Australia: clean, green, and valued quality products, especially wine. So the question is how to make sure the winery, can enter into China market and win the market share in the most effective way. I will pass to Sarah to talk about what kind of Australia wines are demanded by Chinese consumers.
Thank you, Mike. As I mentioned, we have been assisting Australian companies in the past 20 years, and actually we helped quite some wineries succeed in China market. But today I would like to provide a little bit more updates on what China market wants from Australia. Recently, I went to this exhibition. Actually, our office in Shanghai, we also have a showroom in Shanghai. We participated and actually exhibited at China Food and Drink Expo in Chongqing the week before last. And last week, we exhibited at Pro One and also FHC China. And then the market actually changes on a daily basis. From my recent trip, I got a little bit further insight on top of what we have learned in the past years. China market, as I said, is changing very quickly. A few years ago, when we went to China, if it is Australian wine, people asked about price and brand. And today, it is a little bit more complicated. For those who are looking at enter China market, what plays an important role for your initial market entry is your, in terms of, in order of importance, a brand plays the most important role in your market entry, and the second is the packaging, and the third is the taste of the wine. But when you enter China market and then say 6 or especially 12 months later, you come to this growth stage, the taste will play the most important role for your repeat sales, and brand will play the second role, and packaging becomes less important. But three factors are still, all these three factors are very important for your market entry and market growth. So next, I will give you a little bit more details to explain what brand, packaging, and taste mean in your market entry and growth. When we talk about brand, so first people will ask, which region are you from? Especially for professional wine importers, distributors, wholesalers, and retail chains. They know our major wine production regions, Barossa Valley, Margaret River, Hunter Valley, etc. And then when they ask for premium wine, especially ask for wine from South Australia, and West Australia, sometimes from Victoria, sometimes from Hunter, but everybody knows Barossa Valley and South Australia. So region plays a very important role. And people also ask about the history. If it's a 3-generation winery, or the winery has been there for quite a while, enjoy some reputation in the market, then you have some story to tell to the China market. So Chinese trust those brands with some history, with background and heritage. And also the reputation and awards are very important. James Halliday's ranking is quite recognized in China. People asked us about 5-star wines at exhibitions, but also at our business matching events. People do ask about awards. China hasn't, I would say, come to the stage. They kind of know which awards is much more prestigious than the others. So, but if you have some awards, either domestically in Australia or internationally, please do tell China market. So all these brands will help you when you initially enter China market, because that gives some story and the tools for your distributors and wholesalers and retailers to sell to their end customers. Well, when we talk about packaging, we talk about the size of the bottle, the shape of the bottle, the cap, and the label. So it's not purely the label or the carton. talk about bottle cap. Probably you're aware of that. In the past, Chinese consumers consume those one from the old world like France, and then they perceive wooden cork as premium wine cap. So, but today things has changed a lot. Chinese consumers in general has been educated eventually and understand Australia use screw cap a lot. But when it comes to the very, very top end one, they still prefer wooden cork. The reason is because that if you look at who consume those premium wine or the very top range wine in China, it is either for special occasions or experienced wine drinkers. For some special occasions, people like this ritual to open a bottle of wine with a bottle opener. So it's not just the perception about wooden cork is premium. It is about this ritual. So for Chinese, wine drinking is not only the taste of the wine, the brand, it's whole experience. The shape of the bottle, the look of the bottle, the flavor, the experience from your opening the bottle. So that is why for the very premium wine, the wooden cork is still preferred. But in general, Chinese consumers accept a screw cap. As to the size, of course, we know 750 ml is most popular. Recently, the fast-growing sector is 187 ml and 1.5 liter. 185 ml is more for online channels, especially for young professionals who prefer to carry some small bottles as the drink beer, like same way like the drink beer, but of course a smaller size, and they can take a bottle of wine, just open it for the picnics and parties, and then rather use a glass, they use the bottle and drink from the bottle straight away. So 180 ml becomes more popular, but be aware of that. The market will be saturated if everybody is doing the same size. So don't be distracted by this 180 ml just because it's becoming popular, but be aware of this market segment. 750, actually there are three popular sizes for 750. I mean, based on the height of the bottle. It depends on which market segment you are targeting. Make sure the shape and the height of the bottle is aligned to your market positioning. Of course, if you're targeting gift market, premium market, use a bigger bottle. Even there's still 750 ml wine in it, but be aware of the shape. And then you can always talk to us. Well, what market prefers which shape and height. 1.5 liter has been actually sold by a few Chinese-owned wineries, and they target special occasions in China, like, for example, business functions, weddings. So 1.5 liter is very popular for that market segment. The other thing, talking about packaging is label. In the past, the Chinese prefer much more classic design. But recent trend is the market is becoming much more fragmented, and consumers are becoming more and more sophisticated. So even quite funky or quirky, designs enjoy some market share in China today. It was not the case 24 months ago, even 18 months ago, but today the market is quite different. So I think the key here is to look at which market you are targeting and your market positioning, and align your design with that market position and your target client's need. It's not like one fits all. A classic design may fit one market segment, but may not fit other market segment. For example, one of our clients has some really funky design. 2 years ago, they had difficulties to meet the I would say the demand from the Chinese consumers. They preferred more classic design, and today that design actually suits pretty well for some more advanced drinkers who care less about design, but kind of perceive that design to be suitable for a specific market segment. So there are actually a market segment that prefer those kind of design. So don't be too worried about if your design is not right for everybody, but please do align your design with your target market segment. And also the taste. I actually categorize Chinese wine drinkers into experienced and inexperienced. I would say more than 80% wine drinkers in China are still inexperienced wine drinkers, but more and more actually are moving to the right side of this chart. They're becoming more and more experienced in wine drinking. So. But majority, I would say the majority of this market are still dominated by these inexperienced wine drinkers who prefer a little bit sweeter wine, just compared to the wine that we consume here in Australia. They prefer a little bit gentle, smooth, and a little bit sweeter wine than we have here. And also they prefer a little bit juicy, fruity kind of wine. The reason is 10, 20 years ago, before one from other countries went to China, Chinese wine drinkers consumed Chinese local wine, like you probably have heard of this, the Great Wall or Zhangyu wine. They were more like kind of fruity, juicy flavor. So that kind of shaped the Chinese consumers' palates, and then they prefer more juicy, fruity wine. But when it comes to the more experienced wine drinker market segment, they are just like the wine drinkers here in Australia. They accept much more diversified flavors. They are much more sophisticated. They are not purely after sweet, smooth wine. They want something like more rich. They can talk about the stages of wine in terms of taste and smell, etc. It depends on which market segment you're targeting. Probably you need to tailor your wine a little bit if you are targeting the mass market at this stage. But if you target the experienced wine drinker, then you don't need to change your the composition of your formula. So this is just a quick kind of summary of my observation of the Chinese market, current market. So now I would like to turn it over to give it to Mike to talk about the distribution channels in China.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So when we look at the wine distribution channels in China, so it can be divided into online and offline channels. So just to clarify, so even for the online channel, the wine are still to be imported into China through the traditional trade. So that's different from the normal Australia or like food through the cross-border e-commerce. So and then those importers or distributors will distribute or sold to Chinese end consumers through the e-commerce platforms, so which will be shown in the following slides. So, and more importantly, your pricing strategy for China market is linked to the length of value chain. So basically, the more intermediaries are involved, the fewer margins you will receive. So in terms of your pricing strategy, so it depends on how many intermediaries you're going to get involved. When we look at the traditional distribution channel in China, so function-wise, it is split into three stages. So first one is direct import, and then intermediary, and then retail. Firstly, the importers with importer license in China, they import wine into China through the traditional trade, and then they will send and distribute the wines to intermediaries such as agents, brokers, and wholesalers. Those intermediaries distribute and resell the wines to the retailers, such as hypermarkets, supermarkets, department stores, and online stores. So it is critical. You have to make sure your pricing strategy covers every entities getting involved in this value chain, and make sure there is sufficient incentive for everyone in the game. So these three parties in value chain are classified by function, not by entity. So the importer, distributor, and the retailer can be the same company or can be different companies. So some of you or many of you have been dealing with importers, but it could be harder, difficult, or tough for you to get involved with the retailers in China. When we look at the online distribution channel, e-commerce and online distribution channels are well developed in China now. Those major e-commerce platforms listed in this slide are mainly used by Chinese consumers every day. Some of you might have heard about Chinese Singles Day, which is the 11th of November each year. And this online shopping festival was launched by Alibaba. So on the last Chinese Singles Day, 11th of November 2017, which was a couple of weeks ago, the one-day sale is about 32 billion Australian dollars. And not surprisingly, red wine is one of the most popular and the best-selling products on that day. So as you can see, Tmall, Jingdong, VIP, Koala are all on the list, but these ones are the Chinese domestic e-commerce platforms. When we're talking about China market entry options, there are always quite a few options available for Australia wineries. So I think this question I can raise it to the wineries. So whether you choose to deal with a national distributor who covers whole China or a regional distributor who covers one or a few cities. For another option, will you choose a giant Chinese big company who import many Australian products, including wine and other like food and bev, or you deal with a wine distributor who only focus on wine? I think that the answer is different for everyone, and it depends on your China market strategy. Yeah, some of the wineries are willing to deal with special wine distributors who has the capability and committed to a brand and are willing to build up your market brand awareness in China. But for other wineries, they're also open for general and national distributors because they have a more sales network in China and could easily easily build up your sales in China. So it depends how you fit your China market strategy into your company's overall sales strategy. So, but one thing I would like to remind is please bear in mind that you shouldn't leave everything to your China partner, and basically you have to make sure your strategy is aligned with what they do in China for you. Then I will pass to Sarah to talk about the wine export to China program we're going to launch soon.
Yes. So as I mentioned, one of the key tasks of my team is to run the Export Growth China program on behalf of all the chambers across Australia. So in partnership with Australian Chamber of Commerce Industry, all the state chambers, and also in partnership with Chinese government plus industry associations, one associations in China, we run this One Export to China program, which is heavily subsidized by the chamber and the government. So it's a 10-month program, including 8 months intensive marketing and business matching events. Starting from the program will officially will start from the 1st of May and finish at the end of 31st of December. But participants need to join ideally by early March. So we do need around 2 months to prepare you for this program. That is why it is in total is more like 10 months program. So it is a marketing and business matching program. So you will be endorsed by the chamber and the government to China market. You will enjoy lots of exposures and brand promotion in China. Plus, we will build you multiple business connections and qualify leads for you. The program covers the showroom, events, and display. We have a showroom in Shanghai, operating under the brand Australian Business Chamber in partnership with Australia Made, with Chinese government, Australian government, chambers, and industry bodies. So we run lots of business matching events in the showroom. we also take your products out of the showroom and exhibit them at all major wine and food and drink expos in China. Mike will give you a little bit more details later about this. And plus, we do lots of online marketing and social media promotion.
Right. As you can see, the program is an 8-month program starting from 1st of May officially to 31st of December 2018. We have a scheduled event in each month of the program to marketing our participants' wines to China market and actively approach potential Chinese wine distributors for our participants. For the benefit of early birds, we have arranged 2 events in March and April for those wineries who are able to join immediately. So I will show you a visible structured process of how we market your wines in China and how we work with you towards your success in China. So as you can see, officially starting from May, we're starting from a SEA exhibition in May. Then we start following by June, July showcase of Australia Business Excellence, which are the events held in our Business Chamber's Shanghai showroom. In August and September, we have business matching events. And following October, we have the safety autumn season exhibition in China. After that, we have a Pro One and other 2 business matches around the Pro One in November 2018. And that's when we arrange the delegation in that period. And after that, in December, we have another exhibition, One Bird and One Road events in China.
Yes, so it covers how many, so basically
we covered 5
expos.
Yep.
During that 8 months.
And 3 business matchings and 1 tastings.
And 1 tastings. And
yep.
Plus, if people join the program, in November and early December, we can prepare them for the optional, extra China Food and Drink Expo in March, and also the showcase of Austrian Business Excellence in April. Yeah. So, yeah, there are actually 6 exhibitions and multiple business matching events.
All right. So in the following slides, I will show you exactly what we're doing in China, and that's how we are so confident that we can definitely deliver what we promise. So this is a picture of our Shanghai showroom, and this shows you how your wine is displayed in our showroom. And also, as you can see, the showroom is organized very decently with Ocean Australia elements, blue sky and ocean style, which is very appealing to Chinese consumers and also matches their perception about Australia wine. So besides the showcasing, we invite Chinese wine distributors to our showroom to physically see and taste the wine, which gives them more confidence to buy the products from our program participants. Also, the wine displayed in the showroom received the endorsement from the chamber, as you can see in the bottom 2 pictures.
Yeah, and also top politicians and celebrities like Tim Cahill was in our showroom. Quite a few street premiers, and also trade minister. And Robert, showroom, Mike Baird, former New South Wales premier, was in the showroom when he was the state premier.
Okay, so following by the showcasing, that's our Chinese website promotion. So this is the front page of our China official website, and as you can see, our global trade name is Australia Business Chamber. As some of you might be aware, Chinese consumers sometimes might not be able to access overseas website, such as Australia's website, due to China government's restrictions, and most of the Chinese cannot read English. So it is critical to have your winery and wine information publicly available. For Chinese consumers, so they know your winery is genuine in Australia. And we have built up our reputation and credibility in China market in the last 2 decades. And the Chinese companies, consumers trust our website and use it as a source of truth to source Australia wines. So we release out our program participants information on our official Chinese website as part of the program. So there's no additional charge for that. Then we look at WeChat. I think this is not a new idea or concept to most Australians now. So I believe many of you must know WeChat, which is the most powerful and popular social media application in China. We have set up our WeChat public account and have more than 4,000 followers who are Chinese distributors and buyers. We have our own copywriter in our Shanghai team. She wrote all these articles you can see in this screen, and all the program participants will receive one article about their winery and wines. Following by that, we also do EDM promotion for our for the program participants. As you can see in the screen, we will send the weekly EDM to over 6,500 buyers in our sales network. Of course, we will follow any inquiries from these potential buyers. We will follow up and present the information we connect from the participants.
And from this over 6,500 food and buy and alcohol importers and distributors, over 1,000 actually one distribution companies. They are importers, distributors, and agents specializing in wine distribution in China.
Oh, that's awesome. So now we look at the expos and the trade shows. As you can see, there are so many visitors and interested buyers coming to the expos and the trade shows. And you don't have to physically go to China if you are busy. We present our participants' products in these trade shows and expos, and we will gauge the genuine interest from the potential Chinese buyers. So when we pass the potential list to the participants, it's not anyone who just queried about your product. We will talk to them and find out the genuine interest behind the query. So we will make sure the reason they're interested in your product is because it perfectly fits into their sales strategy and their company strategy. So you have a genuine interest aligned between both parties, and that's from our point of view, that's a really good starting point to start doing business with potential Chinese buyers. That's how the wine tasting and the business matching look in China. We organize all these wine testing and business matching events, and we invite wine distributors and buyers from like all these major cities. So we present our participants' product and let them test, and of course we will talk to them about our participants' wines and why they are special, and we find out which ones suits for which. I think over the last event, we have more than 61 distributors joined our business matching last week.
In one event, actually.
In one event.
Yeah, we did one tasting event with Shanghai government last Monday in Shanghai, and then last of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we exhibited at Food Hotel China and Pro One. And Friday, we run the business matching event with one association in Hangzhou. So we got more than 50 distributors, wine distributors, at the business matching event on Monday, and also 50. We look at the capacity. So we basically got 50 distributors invited by the local government and industry association at each city.
I think that's a really good number if you look at the efficiency and effectiveness. Yeah. I think, of course, we definitely want to you to see what our participants say about us.
Yeah, we'll play a short video.
Yep.
Australian products, particularly our food and wine, are highly sought after in China, and with a backyard like this, it's easy to see why. But businesses are throwing away $40 billion a year in lost opportunity simply because many think exporting to China is too hard. So today we want to show you how easy it can be. We've come to the Hunter Valley to meet a winemaker who's cracked the market through the New South Wales Business Chamber's Export Growth China program.
Yeah, we're standing in the Chardonnay vineyard on the Broken Back vineyard, and as you can see, the vines have just been through bud burst. Going into the growing season, we will be harvesting these grapes in around about January, February in 2018.
Mark Woods is the senior winemaker at Leogate Wines. He's seen the winery through 12 vintages and has been in the industry for 20 years. Initially a brewer, his love for wine developed over many evenings with his father, who enjoyed a good drop from his cellar. So what's in this barrel?
Yeah, this is our current vintage, 2017 Broken Back Vineyard Shiraz. We harvested the Shiraz in early February this year, and it's now been maturing in the barrel for approximately 7 months.
Shiraz is a favourite of the Chinese, and Leogate's owners Bill Whiddon and his wife Vicky saw it as their ticket into China.
Oh, this does look good. Very intense colour.
2 years ago, the pair was looking to expand the business, and with Australia's newly signed free trade agreement with China, they saw an opportunity. But they knew there would be challenges.
We didn't have a first port of call, and that's the prime difficulty. Like, it's pointless arriving by aircraft in Shanghai with a couple of bottles of wine under your wing and looking around for markets.
The New South Wales Business Chamber became their first port of call. They signed with the Export Growth China program, and within months their wines were on show in the Shanghai showroom.
And what was that moment like to see your wines on the display shelf?
Yes, it was exciting. It was because of the unknown factor of entering a new market. We tend to understand the Australian market because we've been doing it for such a long time, but to go into an unknown market, it was very exciting and obviously challenging.
Export Growth China has helped almost 200 Australian businesses sell their products in China.
The Chinese market can be very scary, can be very complicated, and has many layers to the export journey. Export Growth China is very much a highly supported, almost hand-holding service. We don't just go into China, find you the buyer and leave you there. We literally are beside you throughout the entire export journey, ensuring that the opportunity is genuine for you, that the sale will proceed. We help you to negotiate that sale through to export, and we help you through the physical exporting journey as well.
Leogate's first container load of wines was shipped off to China in March 2016. Since then, they've exported another 5, and there's more orders on the way.
It's nice to think that someone likes what you do, to start with. Like anything that you create or you make, grow or design, you hope that there's a market and that people like what you've done. And so far, it's been very positive, but always a lot of hard work, and I think being respectful of what the customer always wants is a huge thing.
What would you say to other businesses looking at exporting into the Chinese market?
It doesn't happen overnight. You do need help. You desperately need help. China is enormous. You can't go over there and just set up a shop and think it's going to happen. It's not going to.
For more information, visit exportgrowth.com.au or speak with the team on the EGC hotline 1800 505 529.
Okay, thank you. So this concludes our formal presentation. Now, if you have any question, please do direct to me and Mike. And now I saw a couple of questions on the screen. Jody asked about the statistics on the cap cork versus screw cap. So I don't have the number with me at hand now, but we will get back to you on this, the percentage of the cork versus screw cap in China. Sergio asked a good question. The forecast of Australian wine sales in China over the next 5 to 10 years. Actually, as Mike mentioned before, Australia enjoys the highest growth of wine export to China. In the first half of this year, it's 25% growth, and that ranks the highest in the imported wine market in China. That actually was boosted by Chapter. As you understand, Chapter has reduced Australian wine import tariff, but that is over a 4 years period. So from the 1st of January 2019, in a little bit over 1 year, the Australian wine import duty in China will be reduced down to zero. From the initial 22%, currently it's a bit over 5%, plus VAT plus consumer goods tax. So definitely make Australia wine at a very advanced position to compete with wine from other countries, but also in general, the wine market in China and appetite for imported wine is growing in China. With growing middle class in China. I'm pretty sure you're aware of that. I'm quite confident that 25% growth in this first half of this year will keep going in the next 5 years, and especially that will enjoy a fast growing next year because wineries need to get ready for the 0% import duty benefit starting from the 1st of January 2019. So I believe the growth rate will be even higher next year. So if any other question, please tap it on the left side, bottom side of the screen. But also you can contact us or visit our website, exportgrowth.com.au. This is our contact details. You can contact me or Mike. Any other question? Okay, if not, yeah. So thank you for. Yeah. Oh, seems someone is tapping. There might be more questions. How do you find more about our program and the cost? Please actually send an email to us, customer service at exportgrowth.com.au, or you can ring me or Mike. So our contact details on the screen. So we will brief you and explain to you how this program includes and the structure, etc. Okay, any other question? No more question. Okay, so thank you for your time. Thank you for coming to this webinar today. Mike, I will send everybody an email with more details on the program. And also, if you need more information about wine marketing in China, please do let us know. You're welcome to ask any questions that you have in regard to China market. And also another thing, if you need assistance with trademark assistance, registration of trademark, IP protection in China, you please do let us know. Or other market assistance like market intelligence or strategy or website development, we do have specialists in my team that covers that and can definitely help you with this. Thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. So any questions, please feel free to contact us.
Okay, thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Sarah and Mike, for a very fantastic presentation, and thank you to everyone for participating in today's webinar. Have a great afternoon.